Hi, my name is Stacy Estrada, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to stay positive during times of uncertainty. I'm going to share a little bit about my background, about my educational journey. I'm going to share with you some challenges that I went through and how I was able to stay focused during these times. At the end of this video, the goal for me today is to help you to understand that there are many people who go through struggles in life, but if you stay focused on your goals, you will overcome such obstacles. And also, I want you to know that I also went through very similar things that you're currently going through, and I'm here for you. So if you could look at me as a big sister or someone to connect with, I would love to help you and talk to you and just be there for you. So a little bit about me is I was born in Palm Springs and I grew up in the city of Coachella. So I'm a Coachella Valley resident. I When I grew up in the Coachella Valley, I grew up with all my aunts and uncles and cousins all living here. So I have a huge family, but not many of my family members have left the Coachella Valley. A lot of them are here. And sometimes that's a really big positive thing because I love to be around my family, but sometimes it could be kind of like a negative thing because I always used to wonder like what else is out there besides the valley, because it seemed like everybody I knew or everybody I grew up with, they stayed here. So I was always a very curious young girl and I always wanted to know like what else is out there. So that was one of the biggest things that I used to think about when I was in middle school going into high school. I used to wonder, I wonder what it's like, like living in another state or in another country. Well, what is that like? And I used to be so curious. Nowadays, you guys can meet people. Maybe you guys have friends online who live in different cities or in different countries. But when I was younger, I didn't really know anybody who lived in a different place than the Coachella Valley. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video for you today. Because when I was growing up, I just wanted to know what people like me, like who lived here, who grew up in the Coachella Valley, what did they go on to do? I wanted to know and meet like women who did other things. And so I wanted to come back and do this video for you so you can learn a little bit about the things that I was able to accomplish growing up here in the Coachella Valley and then moving on, living in two different countries in this lifetime, and also going to college and what that experience has been like for me. So, when I was in middle school, going into high school, I think one of the biggest things that I struggled with was self confidence. I always felt like I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't enough. That was always like the big theme of my life. And it really affected me in many areas of my life. When I was younger, I was overweight, I had a lot of acne, and it made me really self-conscious. When I was in middle school, I just wanted to have friends, maybe even a boyfriend. Those were the things that were going on in my mind at the time. So when I felt rejected from friends or when I felt rejected from boys, it just made me feel like I just wanted to hide and I didn't want anybody to notice me. And it really affected the way I did other things that were happening in my life. Like, for instance, classes or the way I would speak to my parents or the things that I would hide from my parents. It just affected me a lot because I was so self-conscious about the things that were happening around me. I know that in middle school, going into high school, or maybe if you're in high school, you're it's truly an exciting time. You're really discovering for the first time the things that are interesting to you. You're starting to understand like, well, are you more of an arts person? Are you a math person? Are you somebody who enjoys reading a lot? Are you somebody who hates school? You're starting to understand different things about yourself and they're new. And you get to develop those skills or characteristics over time. But this is the first time that you're really discovering those things about you. And I want to tell you that that journey of discovery, it never really ends. Even in this age or this stage that I'm at right now, where I've already graduated college and I'm already in a higher level of education, I'm still learning new things about myself that are sometimes uncomfortable but sometimes exciting, sometimes make me feel like still self-conscious, but you're constantly evolving and growing. But this is the beginning stages of that of evolving, middle school and high school. In high school, one of the biggest challenges that I faced was bullying and also trying to finish high school. I remember classes were kind of tough for me. I didn't ever feel like I was really smart. I just felt like I felt like I knew how to figure out things, so I was going to get through my classes. But classes were pretty difficult for me. So for me, it was the pressure of school, of finishing school. It was the pressures of friends and what they wanted to do and like what I wanted to do. And it was boys. It was all of these things that you think in this time of your life are your whole life. But then you graduate school and then you realize that there's so much more to be excited for. So those were some of the things that were challenging for me in high school. And the way I stayed positive is I kept my eyes focused on a goal. And that's something that I will encourage you throughout this video to stay focused on a goal. And right now in high school, maybe your goal is just to finish high school. Maybe it's just to finish a class. Those are good goals. Write that goal down or put it in your mind somewhere, but stay focused on that goal. So that way, whenever these pressures come up, you have to remember, I have a goal to finish high school because I want to go on to college. When I went on to college was another challenge for me because, again, I didn't feel very smart and I felt like a fish out of water. There weren't a lot of girls like me in my college, Mexican American girls, and I just felt a little bit out of place. But the good thing was that I had good teachers and good friends who were able to encourage me to stay focused on completing school. So again, I stayed focused because I had a goal and I surrounded myself with the right people, people who cared for me and wanted to see me do well. If you're around friends who are constantly telling you negative things, it's going to get inside of your head and you're going to start to believe it. The more you hear something over and over and over, the more you start to believe it. So my recommendation is to surround yourself with people who tell you positive things or who tell you honest things and help you to grow as a person. And also you, the person yourself, you have to talk to yourself in a way that helps you to grow as well. There were many times where, like for instance, I'll give you an example. I wanted to go to college and I was so scared. And I had a friend, well, someone who I thought was a very close friend, tell me that you'll never leave the Coachella Valley. You're going to always stay in the desert. Like, don't even try. And that was really hurtful for me because this was a person I trusted. This was like a best friend. And for them to tell me that, it like, it really discouraged me. But I knew in my heart that they weren't correct. I knew that I could do whatever I put my mind to. How did I know that? Because I used to tell myself that. I used to have to talk to myself and say, Stacy, you can do it. You can do it. Had I ever done it before? No, I hadn't. But I used to tell myself that I could do it. And I used to have really supportive parents. I used to have a great mother who used to always like say, yes, you can do it. I know you can do it. I used to have a great dad who would tell me the same thing. And then of course, like my brothers and sisters, they were also very supportive. So I did have people around me who made me feel like I could do it. But even if I didn't have any of those people, the most important voice was my own voice saying, you can do it, Stacy, you can do it. And I know that sounds funny or silly, but sometimes you have to be your biggest cheerleader because only you truly know what you can do, you know? Sometimes not even your parents are aware of like what you're capable of achieving. Sometimes your best friends aren't even aware. So you have to be your biggest cheerleader. And so that was how that's how I stayed positive during college. when things got really tough or when I felt like I couldn't succeed, I had to remind myself and I had to be my biggest cheerleader. And also, nobody in life accomplishes anything without failing a bunch. So just remember that. No one who's accomplished something great in this life has done it without failing a bunch. So failure and hard times and challenges, they're all part of the journey to get you to where you really want to go. I like to think of it as like, if you say you really want something, life will truly test you to see if that's true. After college, I was able to, work in my dream career. I was actually working for a news station. I was working, doing interviews for celebrities. I was on the red carpet and working for a big news station. And it was a very exciting time. But it was also really challenging because I had to work, I had to go to school, and I also was, I had a second job as well because I needed two jobs in order to pay for my rent and for my food. So it was a challenging time because there was a lot on my plate. But again, I stayed focused on my goals and the bigger picture. And whenever things got a little too hard for me, I had a good support system that I would rely on, like my friends or my family. And if none of those things worked for me, then I would sit and I would just be alone with myself. And I would tell myself that you can do it. It's okay. Take it one day at a time. And that really helped me. So now what I'm doing in life is I'm working for an organization called Latina Vida, and it's a really great organization. They actually help Latina women who are executives become leaders in their career. So what we do is we do trainings with them, and it's like my dream job. It's something that I love to do, and I have the best time doing it. Something that I studied for, and I'm so grateful that I have that opportunity. And really, this job came along because I had goals of like working and helping people, and I would just stay focused on I want to work to help people, I want to work to help women, and then doors of opportunity opened up. So sometimes you think to yourself like I have this vague goal or this goal that I don't really know exactly what it is that I want to do, but I know I want to help people. And then you have to look for the opportunities around you that are becoming available. Even if it's something where you're just volunteering or you're doing work for free or you're helping your mom or your dad, as long as it's something that's along the lines of what you're trying to accomplish, then I feel as if you're on the right track. The other thing I'm working on is my PhD. This is the final, the last step of education that I could take. It's the top of the tier of education. I was able to get a scholarship and travel to Costa Rica and live there for 2 years. And during my time in Costa Rica, I was asked to go speak in Mexico. I was asked to do a leadership training in Chile. And then I got to go visit Cuba. So I traveled all over Latin America. And for me, this experience was so scary. I remember when they told me that they were going to give me this scholarship, but I had to go live in Costa Rica. It was the first time I was going to leave my family. It was the first time I was going to leave the Coachella Valley, like for a long period of time. And I was scared. I didn't know if I could do it. I felt like, well, I'm a woman. What if men out there tried to harm me? Like, am I going to be okay? And it was a little bit scary, but I decided to move forward, to take the step forward, and go to school and just take it one day at a time and work toward my goal of finishing my PhD. So now I'm back in the Coachella Valley. I'm finishing my last year of my PhD here. So I'm working in my dream career, and I'm also finishing my education. And I'm here also trying to give back to my community by doing videos like this to connect with you guys. Because I really believe if I would have known someone or had an older sister or someone who had done all those things and told me that I could do it, I think my confidence would have gone up and I would have taken more chances. So I hope that this video encourages you to take chances. I just want to end with the 3 things that I want to remind you to do in order to stay positive during times of uncertainty. I want to tell you, number 1 is set goals. Even if your goal right now is just to finish middle school, or your goal is to finish high school, or your goal is to go to college, or maybe you already know what career you want, or maybe it's something else that has nothing to do with your career. Set a goal. Decide something that you want. That way, when all of these challenges and obstacles come in your way, you're able to focus on the bigger picture and remember that it just takes one step at a time. Number 2 is, I would say, build your resilience. What is resilience? Resilience is that thing that helps you to face fear and move forward. So build that. And how do you build that? You build it by facing things that are fearful to you. So if something sounds scary, like moving to another country or finishing off your education, if it sounds scary and tough, you should step in that direction. You should always step in the direction that is going to force you to grow, even if it's scary. And when you take one step in that direction, you're slowly building your resilience. And resilience is the thing that's going to get you through any tough, difficult situation. So build that resilience. Number 3, and the final thing that I will say, is enjoy life. Try to laugh at yourself a little bit. Don't take life or everything so serious. You're gonna mess up in life. You're gonna make mistakes. Everybody does. I make a ton of mistakes, but that's okay. You should learn to laugh at yourself. You should learn to to look at others, and if they make mistakes, forgive them, and don't be so hard on people. Don't be so hard on yourself. Be gentle with yourself and just laugh and enjoy life, because there's going to be different seasons of life. There's going to, just like the way it is here in the Coachella Valley, how there's summertime where it's so hot and nobody wants to leave the house. And then there's wintertime when a lot of people are in the valley and it's so nice because you get Christmas time and you get Thanksgiving and it's so the weather's beautiful. Well, in life is like that too. You have different seasons where there's going to be really tough and hard times, but then it changes. It's temporary. It goes on to a different season. The next season is joyful and happy. When you have those seasons in your life where things are joyful and happy, write it down or remember it or take a picture of it, so that way you can enjoy that moment, and so that way when things are tough, you're able to focus back on those good things. So those are the 3 things I would say to do. Set goals, build your resilience, and try to laugh at yourself a little bit and enjoy life, because everything is constantly changing. Even at my age, sometimes when I was younger, I used to think to myself, if I just get older and I just get a job and I get a car, everything in life will get figured out. Well, that's not true. I can tell you right now, at this age, even in my dream job, even in my education, my high level of education, I still go through really hard times. I still go through struggles, but I go back to my list. I remember the good things. I try to focus on those good things, and I just try to enjoy a little bit, take a breather, talk to myself, and then I'm grateful. I'm grateful for life's experiences and what they teach me and how they help me to grow. And that's how I stay positive during times of uncertainty. I hope this video was helpful. If you need more advice or you want to talk to me and connect with me, you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram name is Stacy, Stacy, M as in Marie, Estrada, Estrada. That's my Instagram name. Also, I have a website that you can find me and send me messages or notes. My website is www.stacymestrada.com. Well, it was great talking to you and connecting with you. I hope to see you girls soon. Enjoy the rest of your school year.